Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Cut Design Academy podcast. I'm Laura R, and I'm so excited to kick things off by bringing you inside the world of fashion, design, and creative innovation through the voices of real industry professionals. At the Cut Design Academy, we believe in learning by doing. Our programs are immersive, student-centered, and led by industry experts. Whether you're studying fashion design, graphic design, interior design, makeup, artistry, or more, we're here to prepare you for the real world through hands-on experience and community-driven creativity. Today, we're driving into the fascinating world of technical product development with a very special guest, Charlotte, a talented developer currently working at Lululemon. Charlotte has worked on incredible projects, including outfitting Team Canada for the upcoming Milan Olympics and collaborating with UK designer Saul Nash. She's also a graduate of the Cut Design Academy herself, so we're especially proud to have her here. Let's get started. Charlotte, welcome. We're so excited to have you on the show. Let's start at the beginning. What first inspired you to pursue a career in fashion?
Yeah, hi, it's wonderful to be here. So I would say my fashion inspiration kind of started back in high school. I'd call it around grade 11. That's when you have to start thinking about what you want to do as your career. I had no idea. I was like, I want to be passionate about what I do. I want to love what I do. So I took a look at what I like to do, and I liked sewing. I was really interested in getting ready for the day in fashion. But it was when I started watching One Tree Hill, the TV series. Brooke Davis became a fashion designer, opened up her fashion line. And I thought, that is really cool. I could do that. So, kind of at that point, I just focused on sewing, building a portfolio, and applying to fashion school. I wasn't sure if it would work out, but I was like, you know what? You got to give it a shot.
Yeah. And can you walk us through your education journey? Like you've studied in a few different institutions, including the COT, and how did each experience shape your skills and perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. My first education was at VCC, Vancouver Community College. They had a 2-year fashion arts program. So it's a little bit of fashion, a little bit of marketing. So in that program, that's really where I got my foundation of pattern making, designing, sewing, really hands-on. And to be able to graduate from that program, you have to design, make the patterns, and sew a collection of 5 outfits, and of course, a portfolio to go with it. So it was really cool to see everything kind of walking down the runway. Just at the end of the program. It's something kind of special to see. Uh, I had joined that program right out of high school, so I was still very green, very new to the industry. Didn't quite feel ready to dip my toes in, so I thought maybe there's another program I can join and just really deep dive into some, other skills that I want to work on. One of them being 3D pattern making, because that was, or sorry, not 3D pattern making, but just digital pattern making. So for the Art Institute, they are a private institution, so they have a lot more resources. So they did have Gerber. So that was one of the reasons I went to the Art Institute, and I did just Gerber pattern making. I really deep dove into leather. I wanted to learn how to make leather garments, how to manipulate fabric through like star gathering, pleating. And I did another collection of 3 outfits this time to graduate from that program. So from there, I kind of felt ready to jump into the industry and, explored a bunch of different things, working for myself, being in Fashion Week, working for multiple different companies in different kind of fashion related roles. And then unfortunately the pandemic hit. And it was around that time where I had finally figured out, did I want to be a pattern maker? Did I want to be a designer? No, I wanted to be a product developer or in technical development. So it was around that time that I thought, if this is something I want to do, I'm having trouble, getting my foot into that door. So why don't I go back to school, and maybe there's a program that can help me further my education in product development. So upon a lot of research, the only program I found was actually the CUT Fashion Design Academy. And they had a really great 14-week program where it really focused on product development, production, and sourcing. So both domestically and internationally. So that really helped kind of, it's been 10 years since I was in school. So it helped kind of refresh some of those skills that maybe I'd lost, build connections, and build that confidence to be able to have a portfolio and get into the role that I wanted. And it was through the cutting room that they actually introduced me to Tentree, which was my first kind of product development role.
That's so exciting. And well, tell us about Tentree, right? So a sustainable fashion brand, known by planting 10 trees for every purchase. How did that experience shape your dedication to sustainable development and responsible production?
Yeah, I mean, Tentree really opened up my eyes to the world of like fashion and exactly how much waste and pollution the fashion industry contributes. It's amazing how many products are actually destroyed before even hitting the shelves due to mass production, overproduction, fast fashion. So it was actually great working with Tentree. They really show how easy it is to, shift your thinking, really focus on sustainable materials, trims, designing with circularity. And that's kind of how I've trained my brain now going forward. It's like if we can always think about circularity, then we can kind of design with the end in mind.
Okay. And also like let us get into what you do today, right? And for those who may not be familiar, like what exactly does a technical product developer do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, the simple version is we are responsible for construction and fit. So those are kind of like the main two things. But on a day-to-day basis, like we're using product lifestyle management systems. So you'll hear us say the word PLM a lot.
Mm.
So we're creating style numbers, we're creating colorways, we're kind of managing the data within the software program. We are also making sure that we're adhering to the go-to-market calendar. So we refer to that as GTM, to make sure that everything is on time and being delivered um, without delay. We also develop and create tech packs in PLM to communicate the requirements for design. So we make sure that the aesthetic, the fit, cost, construction, the engineering all meets what the design intent was. Once a prototype comes in, we're responsible for measuring the proto. We do a little bit of a review, make sure that the construction matches what our tech pack outlined. Was there any quality issues, anything we need to call out? And basically, that prepares us to fit the garment. So, pretty much every week, we're getting live models in, men, women, and we're fitting garments on them. And we're making sure that everything measures correctly. We're making fit corrections, and we're collaborating with designers to make sure that the design intent was also made. Um, and so from there, any changes that are made, we are the ones that are responsible for communicating changes to a pattern maker or to the vendor that maybe they're going to do the pattern for us. So often we're, taking the pattern and we're drawing out new pattern shape lines and we're trying to communicate with a vendor a lot of the time in like imagery versus words. So it's very clear like what changes we want to make for the next prototype. So we go through, multiple prototypes until we're happy with where it goes. And sometimes the design changes along the way and we have to just be adaptable. And that's the main thing is fit and construction.
Okay. And also like you've worked in so incredible projects. Team Canada for the Olympics and a collab with Saul Nash. Can you tell us more about those? Like what were your biggest challenges or creative insight highlights?
Yeah, Team Canada is such a fun project to be part of. It's an incredible team of people working really hard. With any high profile project, it requires us to be very adaptable because things are going to change and we have to make sure that things are hitting high quality, high standards. I'm really excited about the pieces that we've developed for Milan coming up. I really can't wait for the world to see them. I can't say much more than that, obviously. But they're going to be great, and it's revolutionary what we're doing for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Um, with Saul Nash, that was another really fun one. Saul is a really great guy to work with. You can see his passion for dance and movement within his designs. And I think one of the best things about it is his designs are quite unique compared to like maybe what Lululemon has done in the past. One of my favorite pieces that I worked on was the mesh define jacket. So it might still be online. I don't know if it's sold out, but it was a really fun one to take something Lululemon is known for, the define jacket, doing it in a new fabric and doing some really cool cutouts like on the raglan sleeve.
Okay. And well, fit and construction plays such a huge role in both function and fashion. How do you approach like the balance, especially in performance wear?
Communication. I would say you have so many partners you have to work with. You have designers, we're working with sourcing. They're making sure that, the costing is correct, that the materials are right, that we've got the best vendor who can execute the design, or, if it has a graphic or something like that. Um, you know, in regards to fit, the designers do attend the meetings and the fittings. So as a technical developer, we're taking the lead in the fitting to make sure fit changes are, happening, that everything fits well. But we do have to make sure that design is happy with some of the changes we're making. And it's all about building trust with them, because they do trust that we know what we're doing, and trust that we're going to approach them with a situation that needs their attention as well. And in the beginning, designers always give us the construction that they would like, but we are the experts. And so it's up to us to maybe we'll get some mock-ups created of different construction to show them that we think might execute better, or make some suggestions, because ultimately it's about how can we get the best fit, the best construction to, meet that awesome design that they've come up with.
Okay. And well, I know you also work with 3D pattern making software. You've mentioned PLM softwares as well. Like, how is technology changing the way garments are developed and refined?
Yeah, I think 3D pattern is the biggest thing that's hitting the industry right now. It allows us to really review a proto before it's even made. So when the designer gives us a design, and maybe it's based on a previous style and they've drawn some new design lines on it, we can see it in real life and make adjustments before the first proto is even cut. So it saves on materials, labor, resources, our fit time, our development time. So it's really cool to see that we can kind of make some initial changes. And there are cases where, a proto won't make it in time for a presentation. If we have a 3D asset that we can show, it just gives us something to show for the collection.
Okay. And let's zoom out for a bit and talk about the industry more broadly. Like, what trends are you seeing right now in garment tech and product development?
I think we've kind of touched on them a little bit. 3D prototyping is something that I'm seeing the use of more and more. It's still fairly new to the industry, so we're still figuring out, how it fits into our daily life. And every day there's a new realization of, wow, this is really cool. We can now use it for, looking at graphic placement. That might just help us a little bit along the way. I'm also seeing a shift where all companies are going towards sustainable materials. So it's now choosing fabrics, lining, pocketing, trims that are now made out of maybe recycled material, or something that is easier to recycle at the end of life.
Okay. And cross-disciplinary skills seem also more important than ever, like blending design, technology, and even data. Like, what skills do you think are essential for the next generation of designers?
Yeah, from my experience, designs are often done in Illustrator. So it's more important for the design to show technical details, more like a flat sketch. I think it's essential for the next generation to have a working knowledge of Illustrator. At the same time, you really have to understand garment construction, all the different techniques, machines that are being used, the different types of thread that we're using for every machine. And then a basic knowledge of 3D pattern making. I know a lot of the time you're going to get to know it in the role, but if you just understand kind of how it works and how it plays into your life, that'll make it a lot easier. There's so many ways to develop a style. So having different tools in your toolbox just help you adapt to, the needs of the style.
Okay. And what advice would you give to someone just starting out who wants to work in technical design or development?
Yeah, a lot of the time when I've worked with like junior technical developers, they go into a fitting and they want to make a lot of design changes. Being in technical development, we are not designers. So we don't have a lot of influence over the design or the colors. So you have to be okay with letting the designer take the creative direction on that. It's more for us to be confident in fit construction, be curious, ask questions, learn more, because every day I'm still learning things. There's still so much I don't know. And from my experience, it's okay not to have all the answers. It's how you approach a situation and learn from it.
Okay. Charlotte, where do you think the future of sustainable tech integrated fashion is heading?
Circular design. I think that's something you're going to start hearing more and more. It's designing with the end of life in mind. So when you start at the beginning, the designers, using material of all the same content so it can be recycled, or making sure that it comes from a place where it is more sustainable to produce. I think that 3D will complement it as well because once it's fully adopted, we're going to be able to, not waste any materials before we're prototyping, maybe get one prototype at the end. And I think there's so much more we can do with it. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Okay. And let's go to a quick lightning round. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. A favorite piece you've worked on?
Okay, I'll give you two. Tentree, there was a really cool men's tech blend utility jacket that I did. I think
Yeah.
it's still on the website now if you want to take a look. And then with Lululemon, I'm really excited for some of the bottoms I worked on for the Milan Olympics. So you'll have to wait and see. Stay tuned.
Okay, most challenging garment to fit?
Definitely raglans. Those raglan seams, fitting them can be definitely a challenge.
Okay. Go to design software?
Adobe Illustrator for sure. Using it daily.
Okay. Fashion icon or brand you admire?
Probably Issey Miyake. He's a Japanese designer. He was originally an architect, so he's really known for technology-driven design.
Okay. What's on your desk right now?
A few cat photos for sure. My coffee mug for caffeine. And probably a lot of artwork strike-offs, just kind of sitting around waiting for me to look at them.
Okay. Charlotte, this has been such an insightful and inspiring conversation. Like before we wrap, I do have one final question. What would your future self thank you for doing today?
Something I was never good at, which is, building relationships and networking. You'll never know when you'll collaborate with someone in the future, and it's really important to like put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's a very good advice. And yeah, for everyone who's listening, where can our audience follow you or check out more of your work?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a good way to connect. We do get a lot of people trying to connect with us. So send me a DM if you want to chat or connect. Love to hear from you.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Charlotte, for joining us. And thank you to our listeners for tuning into the Cut Design Academy podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn and share this episode with your creative community.